How can other local organizations, advocates, or community members collaborate with the Women's Fund of Greater Fort Wayne, as well as more national organizations like the Joyful Heart Foundation, to create more long-term systemic change and improve the lives of these women and girls who are victims of this violence in Indiana?
I would say for organizations and individuals who want to help create change for women, I would say listening to women and girls is the most important thing that we can do. We can listen to women and girls and believe them and speak up when we have the power to do so. Like right now, in the middle of this legislative session, we need advocates to stand up and contact their representatives, contact their senators, and ask for these bills to get a hearing before April to make sure that they make it through. So contacting your legislators does matter. I know, especially in Indiana, it can feel sometimes just it can feel really hard. It can feel really isolating when you're trying to make a change, especially for issues of sexual violence. But I will say, now is the time to speak up on behalf and with women and girls, and to put your support behind some of these. I will say too, for workplaces, it's an important time to pass policies in your workplace for having zero tolerance policies for sexism and harassment, making sure that if someone on your team experiences sexual or domestic violence, that they're able to access family medical leave to fully heal and take care of themselves. It's making sure that if someone on your staff has a protective order, that that doesn't negatively impact how you're scheduling them or their ability to come to work, or even that you can help secure a workplace protective order. So we need workplaces to really ask and listen to women on their teams about how they can show up for women on their staff. And we need people in positions of power to say that this matters, that women who have experienced, and it's not just women who've experienced sexual violence, that we need to stand up for survivors of sexual violence and say that we're going to make sure your voice is heard and that you get your day in court if you want it.
So, looking ahead, what are some of the key areas of focus for both the Women's Fund of Greater Fort Wayne and Joyful Heart Foundation in the new year? Are there any new initiatives or partnerships on the horizon that will address women's health and safety?
Yes, so right now the Women's Fund is really convening our domestic violence organization. So really trying to look at the ecosystem of care for those who are experiencing domestic violence. So this year we're having quarterly convenings to really listen to how are the agencies working together. Do we know what one another do? Like, do we know what other agencies do, what they provide? How are our referral systems working? Because we really want to make sure that we're providing that entire continuum of care for survivors who are experiencing domestic violence and sexual violence. The Women's Fund also on March 12th will have our Women in the Workplace Luncheon, where we are going to celebrate employers who are meeting or exceeding the metrics nationally when it comes to how we're supporting women in the workplace. So we really want to put a stake in the ground and say it matters how many women are in leadership in organizations. It matters how we are building our compensation practices to make sure that they're supportive of women. It matters that we have supportive benefits and policies that really support caregiving and physical safety. So that is an annual event that we do to really lift up employers who are doing a good job with that. So those are a couple of things we're working on this year.
That's amazing. I'll just add that, our commitment to helping in Indiana to pass the six pillars of reform is strong. We would like to see another inventory done across the state to see what the status of the backlog is because the state, does not have the mandated testing of all the newly collected kits that are coming in. We don't know what the real state of the backlog is right now. So we have sort of older numbers. It'd be great to get newer numbers. We would like to focus on ensuring moving forward that all newly collected kits are tested in a timely manner. And then one of the other things that we're working on just generally at Joyful Heart is image-based abuse. So we're working on the non-consensual disclosure of intimate images, making sure that states have good laws in place that are strong laws that protect survivors and give them rights, but that also give prosecutors and law enforcement the tools to address these cases, making sure that covers synthetic images, that's giving survivors a civil cause of action to sue offenders. Indiana working more on the backlog and getting the mandatory testing moving forward, and victims' rights to know the status of their kit is where our focus will be in the coming years.